Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Devaki Nandanaya cha.
Devaki Nandanaya cha.
Nanda Gopakumaraya.
Nanda Gopakumaraya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama Hare Rama.
Hare Rama Hare Rama.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of Bhakti Shastri, next of instruction. We are discussing chapter, verse number 2 or text 2, Atiyahar Priyasascha Prajalapo Nemagraha. Nemagraha Samrityaga Laulyam cha Sadvidhi Bhaktir Vinashyati. So these are called Sad Dosh. These are 6 faults which are hindrance on the path of bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada considered that all these faults can be rectified by simple living and high thinking. So Srila Prabhupada started his purport with a saying plain living, high thinking. Because by that we can avoid all these, most of the things which are in excess. So Srila Prabhupada's first 5 paragraph only describe the principle of plain living, high thinking. And what is the advantage of plain, simple living?
Free from Maya.
We will be free from the influence of external material energy, Maya. And what is the advantage of high thinking? We will get the shelter of internal potency, that is Radharani or her expansion, Lakshmi. Okay? Now then Srila Prabhupada describes 3 words we have discussed yesterday with reference. So what is that? Mahatma's business is to serve the senses of Krishna. This is the business of Mahatma. Now on the other hand, those who are under the influence of Mahamaya or external energy, they are called Duratma. Their business is to gratify their own senses. And we are the Tatistha Shakti or marginal energy. We have free will to take shelter of internal or external potency. Right? And then those who are under the jurisdiction of Mahamaya, they will always suffer 3 types of suffering. And what are these 3 types? What are the 3 types of suffering, Prabhu? Adi Devik. Second is called Adi. One is Adi Devik. The second one? That is called Adhyatmik. And then the middle one is called Adi Bhautik, suffering from other living entities. Okay? So we yesterday read up till this, alright? That's why we read yesterday. Vairagi Bhai. So in verse number 1, which we have already done, right? You have read the book Anuvrti Tika? The Bhakti Saraswati is speaking about, mostly for the sannyasis. Grame Vartana Suniva, the whole song given of Jagannath. Have you seen this, read this personally? Everybody must have read the first text, complete purport, right? Jihvara lalase iti uti dhai sishordna prana Krishna nahi paye. What is the meaning? For the taste of tongue, if he is running here and there, then he will never be able to control his belly and genitals and never get Krishna Prem. Okay, so we are at the place in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 9, right? So this is the verse here. The verse is Dharmasya apavargasya na artho arthaya upakalpate na arthasya dharmai ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smrta. What this verse actually is and what is the purpose of this verse Prabhupada is given here. Dharam means occupational duties or religious, some religion. So what is the purpose of dharma? Upvarga. What is the meaning of upvarga? Liberation. Srila Prabhupada has written in the emancipation. You see the word in English? Emancipation, right? Which means liberation, right? So dharma is for upvarga. What is pavarga? Pavarga and upvarga. Anybody know what is pavarga? Oh, you cannot know this. You know pavarga? Okay, this is like PQRST, something like that. In Sanskrit, pa, ba, bha, ma. This is at the end. You go to the end, you can see this Sanskrit here. This Sanskrit, Prabhupada has given Sanskrit. You see here, fourth line. You see the fourth line in Sanskrit. Huh? Oh, my old edition has. The old is gold. You have, okay. See the fourth line. See English pa, ba, bha, ma. That is called pavarga, which means pa means hard endeavor, parishram, endeavor. Pa means fan, the foam coming out the mouth, like you see the horses and donkeys when they run, there is a foam coming out. So hard work and foam coming out. And ba, vairat, everything what we do ultimately is useless. Bha means bhaya, means fear. And ma means mrityu, means death. So it's called pavarga, means hard labor, pain and frustration, everything ultimately vairat are useless, then fear, and then death. And opposite to the pavarga is aparvarga. A means no. Aparvarga means liberation. So dharam is for apavarga. Pavarga is material bondage and apavarga is liberation. So dharam is for liberation. Is okay? You got also the pa in your book? Or you have book? No, in this book no? You find out, it must be there. At the end, yeah, start.
It's a new edition.
Only the old edition.
New edition. Pa is like P. Pa is like PH. Bha is like BH. Ba is B. You see, Pa, Pa, Ba, Bha. Ma, M. These are alphabet of Sanskrit, like A, B, C, D. This is the A, B, C, D of Sanskrit. So Pa is P. If we have to use this in English language, then which word we have to put together? You should tomorrow do research for parishram, what we should put word P. P will go, but parishram in English is called endeavor, hard endeavor. So it should be some different word. Y is for fear, if. So we have to get the other words in English for power. Yeah, for them to easily understand. So who will do this job? Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. So you get the words in English which means parishram, pen, foam, then vairat, fear, useless, fear and death. I think they say vairat. Vairat.
Vairat is from verb, and the verb word contains per, per for like bandar.
Ba means?
Per for B. It sounds like B.
Ba.
But Vairat is the first alphabet sounds like B. Verb.
But but where they will not know what is the where. They have to write these Hindi words. There should be English also there. It's a little exercise. Apavarg means liberation. Pavarg means bondage. Okay? So dharam is for liberation. And the next line says, the dharam should never be performed for some material gain. It means dharam is not for earth. So now you must know 4 words first. It's called Purusharat in Vedas. Purusharat means the endeavor of a person. So what are the 4 words? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So you know these 4 words? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. No? Dharma means religiosity. So these are the 4, everybody must know these 4 words called Purusharth. Dharam means religiosity. Arth means economical development. Kam means sense gratification. And Moksha means liberation. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So please, everybody should know these 4. Dharam, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So, because the earth means economical development is coming after dharma, does it mean that religiosity is for economical development? No. No. Religiosity is not for material gain, it is for liberation. Alright? That is the meaning of the Na artho arthaya upakalpati. Na arthasya dharma ekantikasya. Furthermore, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational duty dharma should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. It means artha or economical development is not for sense gratification. If you have wealth, it is for dharma. It is not for kama. You understand this? I think you have a chart, then you write these 4 words here for everybody to remember. Dharma, then you equal and write religiosity, artha, economical development, kama, sense gratification, moksha, liberation. So these 4 words you understand. Then dharam is not for earth. Dharam is not for economical development. It is for liberation. That what about economical development is for what? Sense gratification? No. It is for dharma. Then why sense gratification? So sense gratification is for keeping the body and soul together. Kam Jivan Nirvaha. The verse goes, Kam means sense gratification. Jivan Nirvaha means living body and soul together. Then why Jivan? Why we are living? The next question is why we are living? Jivan Tattva Jigyasa. We are living to know the essential truth, Tattva. Jigyasa means inquiry. And then next question is in Bhagavatam, what is Tattva? What is the essential truth? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shastri. This is the Tattva. One absolute truth realized as a Brahma by the Jnanis, Paramatma by yogis, and Bhagavan by devotees. This is the whole first canto's explanation of the 4 words. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, this one line you underline. The first step in human civilization. First step in human civilization. This underline this, open your book. First step in human civilization consists of occupational engagement means dharma. Occupational engagement means dharma. Perform according to scriptural injunctions. It means the occupational duties should be performed as guided by scripture. This is the first step in human civilization. Then Srila Prabhupada writes, higher intelligence of the human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. What is basic dharma? In human society there are various religious concepts. That is a basic dharma. And then Prabhupada encompass or include all the present religion of the world. He say Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on and so forth. So far, without religion, human society is no better than animal society. So there is a need of some religion in a society, and religion is the scripture which guiding our activities. The religion is necessary.
Buddhism is religion?
Sorry?
Buddhism is religion?
Yeah, Buddhism religion, it is Buddhism is religion.
Nothing about God there.
But anyway, they believe in God or not, Buddha is a God for them. Buddha is a God. Buddha is one of the incarnation of God. We accept Buddha as God, but we don't accept Buddhist religion because it is not following the scripture. That you will learn in Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion, there is a rule. We accept Buddha, but we don't accept Buddhism. Okay, now we are going to the next paragraph. As stated above, dharma se apvarga se na artho arthaya upkalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Why here Prabhupada used word bread? This is a Christian mentality. Going to the church for bread. Right? They say God give us bread, right? So Prabhupada just use the word bread, and all Hindus, everybody going to the temple to get something from God. So it's just they are going for monetary benefit or material benefit. That is not the purpose of dharma or religion. Religion is meant not for that purpose. Now Srila Prabhupada is going further. Sometime human society manufacture a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of the true dharma. So people have their own so-called religions all over the world now. And their purpose is material advancement. Religion entails understanding the law of God, because the proper execution of these laws ultimately lead one out of material entanglement. So religion actually means law of God. Dharmat tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma means law of God. And if we follow the law of God, then we will be free from bondage. Now Srila Prabhupada is writing most important statement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of, now this word you underline, because of atyahar. So why Prabhupada is taking so much trouble to explain the verse? Because all these religions are atyahar. Atyahar means over collecting and over eating, but this is over collecting, material gain. All the present day religions, their object is not God realization but material benefit, and that is called ati ahar. Ati ahar. Okay, this is most important second line in the purport. The true religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. That is true religion. Even though we require economical development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessity of material existence. Now, Prabhupada is continuing that verse of Bhagavatam. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Our life is meant, the real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, priyas, again Prabhupada is coming to the next word of the verse priyas, means endeavor, is not to inquire about absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. The spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor, which means priyas. So, ati ahar, priyas, both are explained in this paragraph. This paragraph is describing ati ahar and priyas. Through pseudo-religions are the self-manufactured religions, are misguided religious people all over the world. You go to the temple and see people are going in temple, ask them why they are going, just for some getting benefit from the God. So that is ati ahar. Now ati ahar subject is over and priyas is over. So it means, I think 13 paragraphs are over by now. 13 paragraphs are over. So this is something here. Now see on the screen, no screen. My screen is on. Any question or comment till now? Yes.
You mentioned that law of gods are meant to free us from the material entanglement. Whereas we see that recently that attacks happened in Bangladesh, and people were actually questioning that there was a video which got viral in which the person said that in Quran it is said wherever you find a kafir you kill. So then people question, how can a religion ask a person to kill another person, a human to kill another human? How this can be called a religion?
This is at an animal platform. Even animal kills the other animal. They don't know really the true essence of the religion.
If that is what they preach violence. So people
So
question.
they are not really, they have never read what is in the Quran. Those who fight, they have never read the Quran. Basically speaking, they are not religious people, basically, they are fanatics. And the principle is this: if you have Guru and God and Shastra, then you will be on a right path. If you have scripture and God only, no Guru, then you will become fanatic. And if you have no God, only scripture and Guru, then you become a separate sect. There are many sects in which there is no God, but there is a scripture and a Guru. They become a sect, separatist. If you have God and scripture but no Guru, then you become fanatic. Oh, God's told me in a scripture, but who will guide you? What is the meaning of scripture? There is no living Guru. So God and scripture, no Guru, fanatism. That is actually Mahamandir. They don't have a present Guru. They don't accept any Guru, a living Guru. And there is God, there is no God, there is only Guru and scripture. Then they become a separate sect. They will have their own sect. Like we have some small sect in our own societies. And that is very subtle actually. My gurus, we are one guru's disciple. This is a small sect within even society. Within our own society. We have this false separatism. So I think the word God brother, word is not Guru brother. English word is God brother. There is only the right in English word. We are brother because we worship one God. Not we are brothers because we are one spiritual master. So Guru Bhai is a separatist term. Yes. And this is dangerous for our society. And disciplic succession is another English word which is appropriate. We are the chain of disciples, not of gurus. We are chain of disciples. To say I am Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, you claim I am a Guru, it means you are actually atheist. Or you are arrogant. You want worship. We are disciples. The Guru is a disciplic succession. He is a disciple. He's not Guru, he's disciple. Once Prabhupada was getting his Guru Puja in Delhi temple. And devotees were singing Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti. And Prabhupada was also singing same verse. So one South Indian, very tantric and Vedic scholar, he was watching. Then he asked some devotee, at that time Loknath Swami, when you are worshipping him and singing Sri Guru, why he is singing? And Loknath Maharaj said, he is singing for his Guru. We are singing for our Guru and he is singing for his Guru. Then that person said, he is really true Guru. He is a bona fide Guru. Because even though he is worshipped as a Guru, he thinks I am disciple of my Guru. He is not. Prabhupada never said they are my chela, disciples. He said my students. Prabhupada used always, they are my students. They are my students. And Prabhupada's passport has a profession teacher. His passport has a profession teacher. So, this is separatism, this fighting in the name. Religions are at a bodily platform. Religions of the world are at bodily platform. Because I am born in a Hindu, so I am Hindu. I don't know what is Hindu. I am born in a Muslim family, so I am Muslim. So religions are at bodily platform. But spirituality is different than religion. Spirituality is different than religion. It is at the level of soul. And soul is not Hindu, Muslim, Christian or Buddhist, nothing. Soul has no designation like that. Soul is Jivera Swarupa Krishna and Nityadas. That is the constitutional attention of soul. Many years back we went from Vrindavan taking Janmashtami Prasad to the then President of India, Abdul Kalam Sahib, Muslim. So when we entered there he said, so you are coming from which organization? Somehow Krishna inspired. I said, we are a spiritual organization. I said like that. He said, welcome. I welcome spiritual people, not religious people, he said. Because religious people fight. He said, religious people fight. So you are a spiritual organization. Please help people to understand spirit, not stay at a religious level. So there is a difference between the religion and spiritual movement. We are a spiritual movement. We are not a religious movement. We have people from Christian background, we have people from the Jewish background, we have people from Sikh background, we have people from Muslim background, we have people from all over the world. Prabhupada said it is a science of soul, science of love of God. It is not a religion. So there is a difference between the religion and spiritual movement. So now here priyas. So livelihood, the priyas is of two types, Vedic priyas and modern priyas. In our purport, we get this thing about priyas which you never notice in purport as such. Now Vedic priyas is God conscious, centered, high living. High? It should be high thinking. And simple living. High, it should be corrected. Oh, if I do like that, it's going back.
Slides.
Okay. Anyway, we will correct this afterwards when we just kidding. So what is that? God's conscious or God-centered, high living, high thinking, and simple living based on land and cow. Live in one place peacefully, not to travel every day, couple hours in a traffic. This is the Vedic way of prayas, endeavor. Modern materialistic prayas is without God consciousness produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. And they are factory. What are these unnecessary things? Based on the factories, slaughterhouses, brothels and liquor shop, etc. This is a priyasa of the modern men. And then they have to travel from one to other place for hours for their maintenance. So this is priyas, a right priyas and wrong priyas. Okay? Now, this is also priyas which we have just discussed. Dharmasya ahiyapa, this is what we discuss now. Just we discussed. Okay? So this is coming under prayas in religion. This topic is prayas in religion. And also atyahar in religion. The word atyahar is also in religion. Okay? Now we are coming in our book to the next topic, Prajalap. So Srila Prabhupada, another impediment is Prajalapa. Unnecessary talking. Unnecessary talking. When we mix with few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking and sounding just like croaking up with toads. If we must talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading, this is Prajalp. Reading newspaper, magazine and novel is a number one Prajalp. Solving crossword is the next Prajalp. In our book, see, read. And doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western country, old men retired from active life play cards, so playing cards. Not on Western life. Here in India, you go in afternoon time in front of any good temple, there is a shade, they are playing card. Yes. Playing cards is a prajalap. And then fishing, watching television, debate about useless socio-political schemes. Every day people discuss so much which party is winning, which is losing, what is happening in political and social. This is the all prajalap. All these and other frivolous activities are included in prajalap category. Intelligent person interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. So these are about 7 prajalap Prabhupada has noted.
Prabhu, when we had the text one, you told about the Vega as a concept and the word. Is it similar like this also, like Prajalpa as a word?
Yeah, actually this is when the language has a Jalpa, Vitanda, and there are, in Sanskrit there are 3 things. So Jalpa, Vitanda, and the third one is Vada. Vada, Jalpa and Vitanda. So Jalpa is just discussing for, presenting one's point. Prajalapa means only talking without any sense. So this is also a sort of concept. This is a concept because otherwise fishing cannot be prajalapa. It is not actually verbal talking, but wasting time. Prajalapa actually means wasting time in useless things which are not connected with God. And now we are going to the next, Jana Sangha. Jana Sangha. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has a prajalap little more elaborate. Now you see in a slide. Godless prajalaps are impediment of devotional service. They are of many types. Useless talks, arguments, gossip, debates, fault finding with others, speaking falsehood, blaspheming devotees, and worldly talks are all prajalap. So with 7 you mix with these 8, they may be same, you reduce those. This is also prajalap para according to Bhakti Vinod Thakur's. Which commentary? Piyush Varshani. Piyush Varshani. And what's the name of the commentary by Bhakti Siddhanta? Anuvriti. Anuvriti is commentary by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and Piyush Varshani is by. There's a 1/4 commentary also yesterday I told you. What is that? Radha Raman Goswami. A Goswami of Radha Raman has a first commentary on Nectar of Instruction. And Bhakti Vinod was inspired by that. There is also available in a book in a market. When I was teaching first time this maybe 10 years back, I had that book, it may be somewhere in my room, that has a commentary by Radharaman, some Acharya from Radharaman line. So these 4 commentaries are available, and 4th one is Prabhupada's. There's not on this book. This book is Piyush Vasuni and Bhasha, 2 types, and then he has wrote some bhajan. Now, Jana Sangha refer to association with person not interested in Krishna consciousness. This is the first line. In our book is also first line. Association with person not interested in Krishna consciousness. Then Srila Prabhupada writes, one should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says positive side. Bhakt Sanevas, always remain in association of devotees. That is positive side of association. So one should always engage in the service of the Lord and association of the devotees of the Lord. Association with those engaged in similar line of business is very conducive for advancement in that business. Now Prabhupada is giving a principle. The principle is that people with like-minded, same service, if they work together, then they will make more advancement. And Prabhupada said, therefore, in a business community there are 2 examples. What are the 2 examples in our book? Stock exchange and chamber of commerce. Because the business people use these 2 facilities for advancing their business. Similarly, Prabhupada said, we have established ISKCON. Similar purpose of ISKCON is to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. So this line is also important in Prajalap. If by the way question comes, explain Prajalap, then Krishna conscious movement is giving opportunity to the people who has not forgotten Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, the spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. And then Anuvarti Tika also describes about the same subject. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvarti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental speculator, means knowledge of mental speculation, jnani, or dry philosophers, falls within category of ati ahar. So ati ahar, this is, Prabhupada has just brought this. So before we go to the list language, let us finish the topic which is under discussion. What is the topic? Jana Sangha. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur says no to 6 exchanges with worldly people. There is also, we have included in this slide, you see, the slok 4 which will come day after tomorrow. Of Updesha Amrit, the 6th symptom of love shared between devotees is explained. When we share these 6 symptoms of love between persons not interested in Krishna consciousness, is called Jana Sangas. And now Bhakti Vinod Thakur says this. Activities like talking with worldly people in the course of one's work is not considered association. This is a safeguard. You may be doing some job in some company, so you have to talk with the people. It is not coming in Jana Sangha, because that is your business. You go and distribute books, you have to talk with the worldly people. That is not actually Jana Sangha. The principle is this. What is the principle? We give association to the people. We should not take their association. This is the principle. If we go to some marriage party, we should go in a devotee dress with a clerk and everything. We should give them gift as a book or some prasad. And we give them association, not take their association. This is the principle. So when we go in a company where we work, we meet with people, we talk with people, but we don't take their association. We may try to give our association by small gift, some photo, some magazine, some calendar, some prasad. That's okay. So that is not Jan Sangha. When this, sorry?
What does that mean, not to take?
Not to take association means not take their habits, not take their lifestyle. Well, with regret I am saying, generally the collectors and life membership preachers, they go out and meet big people. So they take their mentality and they also want the best phone, the best suitcase, the best vehicle. They don't want to be simple like a sadhu. They want to look like them. That is not actually favorable for devotion. You can have a clean, neat, simple clothes. That's okay. It's not that you have to match with the big people. We have this. This is taking association because they are influenced by them. And we have seen many such, our own devotees, they are influenced by their association. Their lifestyle, well, inwardly, maybe they are more influenced by them, but outwardly they are within the society. There is a definitely change in their mentality. So we should, therefore Prabhupada said, never go alone when you go for collecting money and making life members. Always go with some devotee. Because if you go alone, then you will be influenced by those people. Always go in company of a devotee. That will save you. Nothing can be said. These problems are there. There is much influence of outside world even within our society now. I think Giriya Swami Maharaj has written a book, I Will Build Temple for You. You have seen this book? In which at one stage it was very difficult to manage the Jew temple problems. So they wanted to make a society. They wanted to make some good businessmen, they are very good at management, they wanted them to come in. And then they read this line and letter of instruction. On that night somehow they were making a committee. And then they approached Prabhupada, they said, this is what you have been. He said, yes, don't make this. Whatever the way you manage, you get help from them, but don't bring them in, otherwise they will see what you are doing. They will know us and we will be influenced by their mentality. So much so that Gijan Maharaj writes in that book, we were not having toilets on the property at that time. We have some, say, ditch made and some cloth roll, and some members were those who have a house there on our property. They are favorable. They want allowing us. Prabhupada said, don't go even use their toilet. That will pollute your consciousness. And Prabhupada went to, I think, hill station somewhere, and at night, and there was a big food table, and they were eating food. And next morning, nobody was getting up for the early morning, and everybody was snoring. Prabhupada called them. When they came, they said, "Pack and let's go." Only by eating one day with the rich people, you have forgotten your Krishna consciousness. We cannot stay here more. They moved back to Bombay on the same day. Prabhupada was very, Prabhupada was taking and he can, because he was a liberated soul. But for the devotees, if they do like that, they will be troubled. And their influence is definitely very heavy influence right now also on us. Yes, yeah, definitely. So when the same activities are done with the affection of for someone, then that is considered association with that person. When the same activities are done with a affection for someone, in a business there is no affection. It's just a etiquette. But when you have more affection, then that is called association. Talking with them is no problem. But if he say, oh, I have brought something from my house, you want to take some chair, so you go further, then you will take their influence in your life. Who are worldly people? Bhakti Vinod Thakur. That we should not associate. He gave a list of 7. These worldly people are of 7 kinds. Mayavadis and atheists, number 1. We should not associate with Mayavadis and atheists. Number 2, sense enjoyers. Number 3, those who are fond of sense enjoyers. Womanizer. The hypocritically devout, so-called devotee. And ill-behaved, foolish outcast. Is it very heavy, huh?
What is hypercritical about me?
Kidnapping. Is it written somewhere?
She's asking what is hypocritically devout.
Hypocritical devotee means a devotee who is a devotee. Hypocritical devotee is a devotee who is below standard and deceiving other people in the name of devotion. Once I took one person with me and he was having bead and tilak. Ultimately I looked in his bead, there was no bead there. There were no beads in the bag. These are hypocritical devotees. They show like that they are devotees. There were no beads inside. Just making show of you. We have seen this. There was work going on in temple, somebody wanted to preach to the worker. So one day when he was happy, the worker was having a bead bag hanging on his neck. He said, good, my preaching is successful. He said, very good. Now you are chanting? He said, no. Why your big bag? He said, I am keeping the nail in the big bag. It's very easy to use. So he's using the bead bag to keep the nail and screws inside to do his business. So these are the people, they use our techniques, but we think they are devotees. If somebody else from outside sees, he will consider them devotee, but they are hypocritical devotees. But woman as such, like a mother, is not an objection. Woman as such as a sister is not objection. Woman as such wife is not objection. Others women and associating with them with a wrong motive is bad. As such, woman is not bad. Those who are woman hunters are bad. That's what actually the real thing is that. Anuvarti explanation. 4 kind of atyaharis. This is what we are going to read now. Let us read first our book and then see the conclusion here. So now we have finished almost 15 paragraphs. Now we are going from, say, I think 16 to almost 23 or 4. Yes. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental, spiritual or dry philosophical fall within the category of atyar, collecting more than necessary. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on the dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. Where is this in Bhagavatam? Shra? Where is this in Bhagavatam? Narada is speaking to Vyasadeva. Huh? Chitrapada, this verse. Yes, say. Vag Visarga. So these are the two verses. One verse says there may be nice poetical literature, but there is no Krishna. This is useless. Is a place for the crows. This is useless. On the other hand, maybe fault in the grammar, but the glories of Krishna is there. This is respected by the exalted souls and paramahansas. And then Prabhupada used to say, I have written book in English which is not my language. There may be a mistake in grammar, but I have glorified Krishna. Therefore it will be respected by all learned people. So this is what here it is written in this paragraph. Is it okay? The work of karmis. So Jnani is lower. Jnani is atyari. Writing books, reading mundane literature is atyar. Number 2. The work of karmis who write volumes of books on economical development also fall within the category of atyar. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyar. So now we have here 4 kinds of atyari collecting more than needed according to Bhaktisiddhanta. Number 1 is, read, too much endeavor to acquire knowledge of the part of the mental speculators or dry philosophers. We read this. Number 2, endeavor of philosophical speculation to write volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness. This is from Bhagavad Gita. Number 3, the work of karmis who write volumes of books on economical development. And number 4, simply studying and possessing more and more material, like rich man become a. So Prabhupada has a story next paragraph. Now somebody should read the next paragraph. Get a microphone, read the story, and what is the moral of the story. Yes. Microphone. Microphone. Read loud with microphone.
Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for future generations only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons. Such foolish person do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents that illustrate this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in a cobbler's house located near the building, which in his previous life he had constructed for his children. It so happened that when his very cobbler came to his former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him with shoes. Unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities.
So Srila Prabhupada has given the purport about the 2 karmis and jnanis. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, jnanis are writing books and reading books, and karmis are collecting money and writing economical books. They don't know in next life they will be born and beaten by their own sons who are living in the mansion which they have built. That's what the mal. So karmis and jnanis atyahar, which is described now. Now we are going to the very sensitive next topic. Namagraha. This is a question of your question bank. Namagraha. So there are two meanings of Namagraha which we will see now. I will read this afterwards. Accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulation for immediate benefit, or as utilitarians advocate, is called Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha. Only accepting rules for certain benefit without knowing the spiritual essence is called Niyamagraha. And neglecting the rules and regulation of the Shastra, scripture, which are meant for spiritual development, is called Niyamagraha. You see, the word only changed by a and a. Agraha and agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept. Agraha. Eagerness to accept. Word agraha means failure to accept. By the addition of either of these two words to the word niyama, which means rules and regulation, the word niyamagraha is formed. Thus, niyamagraha has twofold meanings. That is understood according to the particular combination of the words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulation for economical advancement, yet they should very faithfully accept scripture rules and regulation for advancement in Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulatory principle of by avoiding illicit sex, mediating, gambling and intoxication. So these names we have to follow. Again, Atyari is coming, but before we go to that, now there again Atyari and Lolium and some other things. So here, Namagraha, Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes, rules are like roads and principle is like compass. Generally, rules are the best way, follow the principle. So principle is like a compass. For example, compass shows northern direction. The road in that direction is the best way to go to the northern direction. So principle is compass and rule is a road. Principle is to remember Krishna and the rule is 16 rounds. Example 3, temple. Principle is glorify Vishnu. Rule is Vastu. Build the temple according to Vastu or whatever it's called. So most important principle is this. This will you will read in a Nectar of Devotion. This verse says, Simrtavya Satatam Vishnu. Always remember Vishnu. Vismrtavyo na jatu chit. Never forget him. First is rule and second is regulation. Rule means follow, regulation means don't follow. It's called yam and name. Yam means follow, yam means don't. Do's and don'ts. So do is always remember Vishnu and don't is never forget him. Sarva vidhi nishedasya etayor eva kinkara. All other rules and regulations are servant to this one rule. So what is the one rule? Always remember Krishna, never forget him. And all other rules and regulations are servant to This one rule. Okay? Shlok from Padma Puran. Niyam agraha. Niyam agraha. We insist on rules whereof understanding the purpose, without understanding the purpose or principle. We insist on rules, but we don't know what is the purpose. Bhishma's welcoming guest on the deathbed is an example. So Bhishma has hands with arrows, so he cannot really say anything. But he simply welcomed everybody according to rules and regulations. So he was not following rules, but his sentiments was in that way that everybody was satisfied. So it's like that he was understanding the purpose behind principle, not actually doing that. He was not offering water to anybody, nor seed to anybody, because he was not in a position. But he, with a gesture of his face and his words, he did that. So he followed the principle, but he did not follow the rules. That is the name Agra. He was not too eager to follow only the rules. He was knowing actually the sense. Insisting on the letter of rules without understanding the principle can be detrimental, means dangerous. Example 1. Why respect Brahman? Respect based on birthright. The rule is respect Brahman. But the Brahman is born in a family of Brahman, but he is working in some office as a Shudra. So principle is to respect Brahman. But we don't know the essence. Any Brahman is on the street, we just go and worship to him. It's not nemagra. Following simply it's a rule without knowing the essence, whether his Brahmanic qualities or not. This is actually going on in our culture. Anybody who is a Brahman, if he comes, we respect. We don't know whether he has a Brahmanical qualities or not. I'm surprised really to see in all the Tirthasthans, the Tirth Pandas, the young one, they are wearing the shard and they are speaking, see, this is a temple where you have to put some donation here. I looked at, are you Pandit ji? Where is your dhoti? Recently we were in Gaya, where every place is the Pandit, they were not actually in a at least traditional Brahminical dress. And they were in a shard. Chaddi pehna. They were in shard and they were speaking like, give donation. So this is, it doesn't mean that we have to respect Brahman, we have to respect such Brahmans who don't even have a dress code. And they only want to collect money and there's no spiritual guidance. So Brahman is to teach us, na? So the principle is that respect Brahman. But the rule is that if he is actually Brahman, then we respect him. So there is a difference between the two. Name Agraha. Next. Agra means failure to accept. Difficult to follow, so it is not important. This is something we say, it is very difficult to follow. Therefore I am not ready to, but it may not be important. But that is that's a name Agraha. Because it is difficult, I am not following. That is wrong. Rules are important to follow the principle. Road to reach the destination and cross country. Rules are important to follow the principles. So what is the principle? Rules are the best to follow the principle. Example, devotee dress. Posture affect the psychology. So this whole thing is that many devotees, then what is the need of wearing dhoti, kurta and tilak or wearing sari? It's not important. But it has a psychological effect. When you are in this dress, you will not do nonsense in the street, because people think that you are devotee. And also you will be very careful, and people will respect you, and they will listen to you. But if you go in a pant, the people will not respect you. So many people are giving up tilak and dresses. Oh, it's not important. Inside we are devotee. There is name agra. They are not following the principle. They are not following the rules. So this is a short. Agra means eagerness to accept, accepting some of these scriptural rules and regulation for immediate benefit, as utilitarians advocate, is called name agra. In our book as it is. And name agraha, failure to accept, neglecting the rules and regulation of the Shastri, which are meant for spiritual development, is called name agra. Both are unfavorable for practice of Krishna consciousness. So rule is not to eat with left hand or accept something in left hand. But you are carrying japa bead in a right hand, or you are carrying a DT in right hand, for example. Then somebody gives you, you can accept in left hand. You are breaking the rule. But this breaking of the rule is for a higher purpose. So the principle is that you can break the rule for higher rule. Then there is no problem. Sometimes we cannot follow the rules because we have to follow the higher rule. So this is possible in some cases. This we will discuss next. Now let us read our book further to finish this. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis, who simply blaspheme Vaishnavas. Bhakti karmi, who are interested in material happiness. Bhakti karmi. Bhakti means enjoyer, karmi means workers. Mukti karmis are jnanis. They want to merge in the Brahm effulgence. And Siddhi karmis are yogis. They want the yoga siddhis. They are all atyahari. They are all atyahari. To associate with such person is not at all desirable. So who is atyahari according to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati? Karmi. What is the word in front of karmi? Bhukti karmi. Mukti karmi, Siddhi karmi. They are atyahari. We should not associate with them. So this is coming under two. A Jan Sangha is coming, not associate also, and it's atyahari. Why? Because they all have a desire. They will desire. And they are also doing a lot of prayas also. Atyahari, prayasas, and Jan Sangha, they all three are applied to them. And this is actually, when we read the next paragraph, this is also coming under Laulyam 2. See next paragraph. Desire to expand the mind by mystic yoga, merging in the existence of Brahma is or attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, laulyam. Only money is not greed. Atyahari is also greedy. Priyasas, one who is endeavoring, is also greedy. But here Bhaktisiddhanta says the two greedies. Jnani is merging in, try to merge in a Brahm, they are greedy. These all language is based on one verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is that verse? Bhakti, Mukti, Siddhi, Sakale, Ashanta, Krishna, Bhakta, Nishkama, Adeva, Shant. This all purport is based on this one verse. Is right? You can see this? Modern warfare waged between capitalist and communist is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Ati Ahar. So there is a more detailed explanation of Ati Ahar. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communist, envious of their prosperity, wants to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of capitalists fall in the hands of communists, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless our wealth come under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economical problems of the mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of communists or capitalists. Now Prabhupada gives the example of $100 note in the street. Somebody will take it and use it for himself. He is thief. He is not an honest person. Some other person, he sees the note, he says, it's not mine. He just leave it there. So he is not actually a thief or enjoyer of others' property, but he don't know to whom it belongs. The third person come and he see the note. He pick the note and find out the owner and give back to the owner. He is actually honest and wise. So Prabhupada gave the example of $100 note. And three persons have a different concept. One don't want to touch. One want to use it for himself. And one want to give it back to the one to whom it belongs. So who is the best? One who gives it to the owner. So this is the principle Prabhupada says. Simply transferring wealth from capitalist to communist cannot solve the problem of the modern politics, which is now going on. China and America fighting, and whole world is polarizing. Russia, they all has a big problem all over the world. The whole world is suffering because of this problem of Atyahar. For it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or communist, he is thief, and as much as he is liable to be punished by the law of nature. The wealth of the world should be used for the welfare of the living entities, for that is the plan of Mother Nature. Everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, they will no longer encroach upon one another's rights. Then an ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in first mantra of Sri Ishopanishad. ईशा वाशा इदं सर्वं यत्किंचित् जगत्यां जगत् तेन कीर्त्यर्थेन भुञ्जीता आग्रतकस्य शरणम्. So you remember all this word? This word. Good. So Krishna conscious devotee knows very well that this material world is designated by complete arrangement of Lord to fulfill all the necessity of life for all living beings, without their having to encroach upon the life or right of the one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs, and thus everyone may live peacefully according to the principle of, again Prabhupada is coming from the first line, plain living, high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God, nor any aspiration for higher spiritual development, misuse their God-given intelligence only to argument with material position. They devise many systems such as capitalism and materialistic communism to advocate their material position. They are not interested in law of God or in the higher goal, always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for sense gratification. These are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living entities. When the human society, this last two paragraphs now, its conclusion, 25 and 26. The human society, when human society gives up these elementary fault enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahar, etc., all enmity will cease between the man and animal, capitalist and communist, and so forth, between nations and everything. And in addition, all problems of the economical or political maladjustment and instability will be solved. This pure consciousness awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna conscious movement. This Krishna conscious movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of above mentioned 6 hindrances to devotional service by taking wholeheartedly shelter of Krishna conscious movement. So, here is an ideal society can be found when this is only possible in Krishna conscious society as told in Isha Upanishad. All the wealth of the world belongs to Krishna, so it should be used for him only. Thus everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. The wealth of the world should be used to the welfare of all living entities. This is the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property. But we should not take more than our maintenance, otherwise we are thieves. Learning this art, people will not encroach upon the another's right. Then an ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in the first mantra of Isha Upanishad, Isha Vacha Idam. So here ends our second verse. Okay? Now any question or comment? Yes?
So how Lolium is different from Atyahar?
Oh, they are actually interrelated in one sense. Lolium actually means greed. Oh, my computer will die.
charger.
Time is over, no problem. So this is something we have to just see in a moment. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Ati ahar. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. What is the personal application of this? In a group of 3 or 4, discuss following. The 3 energies, Mahatma and Duratma, 3 Klesha, and the bag of rice analogy. Well, you know all this, right? There's nothing to discuss. But this is what you have to discuss. Priyasas. In our endeavor, if our endeavor is not to inquire about absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. This is Priyas in our book. Prajalapa. If we must talk, we should talk about Krishna conscious movement. Discussion. To what degree are we affected by engagement in nonsensical things and frivolous activities? Intelligent person interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. So you think how many times we are wasting time. Niyamagra. Exactly. Now dead. Computer dead. Oh, she has a computer. She has a charger. Okay. She don't bring charger either, no? She has no? No? Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll discuss something. Well, there are some exercises which are actually, you are intelligent, you don't need. You have charger? It can go here next. So you said what is lolium? Oh, not that. Medicine, okay. Huh? Oh, this won't work. No, this is a different one. Show me. This is too small. Yeah, it won't work. May work, may not work. Yeah, it has come somehow. So what is your question is? What is the difference between lolium and atyahar? In our book, lolium is only described. The jnani is trying to merge and yogis trying to expand their mind. So basically, they are all interrelated. If we are atyahari, then it means we are also greedy. And because we are greedy, we will do the priyasas. We will follow the more endeavor. So all 3 are connected. Atyahar is connected with priyas, and both are based on lolium. If we have a greed, then we want to accumulate more, and therefore we have to endeavor more. So they are interrelated. And the prajalapa is separate, sangha, tyaga, jana sangha is separate, and nemagara is separate. So yes.
Who are worldly people? We have said 7 people, and 4th one is woman. Why woman is called worldly?
Generally speaking, women in Krishna consciousness, they are devotees. But outside, generally women only talk, that's it. Men also, but women talk a little more. No? 2 women never keep quiet. It's very hard. Somehow, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has put this in a list with his own observation. We may agree, we may not agree.
Maybe like Shastri Sanghe, Sadhu, Krishna Bhakta.
Stri Sangi or Sadhu. This is Chaitanya Chaitanya. What is the verse?
असत्संग त्याग यही
असत्संग चले वैष्णव आचार.
स्त्री संगे एक असाधु कृष्ण भक्त. स्त्री संगी के बारे में.
तो स्त्री संगी is
Womanizer.
स्त्री संगी is condemned, not स्त्री. Woman is not condemned. The person who is exploiting the woman, that is condemned. But in Parjalap, woman is condemned. I don't know. Maybe because they talk little more than necessary.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur condemns people in his Updesha poem that people who spend more time on their body are like monkeys. So there he clearly, in some commentaries they are written that women are tend to do more makeup and they spend more time on their body. And then Chanakya Pandit comments women are 9 times more less.
Well, I don't want to comment on this. The devotees, they can put dhoti and come, but you have to come and you have to take more time. Naturally. This is a very natural. So this is also sort of purging of wasting time. That's right. That's good. If train is late, she make up. She make up if the train is late. And woman will make up and become late. Because she does make up first and then become late. And train is late and it has to make up. So meaning is a little different. Anyway, I think we have thoroughly read the second verse. And in this verse, Nemagraha, we can have a drama. Following certain rules only for the purpose of following without knowing these sense, and not following the rules because it is too difficult to follow. And both should be avoided. Some drama. If you do drama, you will remember some things forever. Some interesting devotee can do this. You younger devotees can do this. Love Kusha. Okay, make a group and try to make something really. This is the way of preaching. If you really here you practice and then you do in your temples on Sunday program such dramas to give message of the Shastra without preaching. Because this message of drama will be, visual message is very strong message. You have these two message of Prasad and Nemagra in a drama and you make it and in your temple you do on Sunday programs. This is Sunday program. In olden days were only the small dramas and puppet show and something for the people to be giving the message without much philosophy. So thank you very much. You should do the Gayatri and we will meet tomorrow again 10:30 to start the 6 favorable things for Bhakti. Huh? 6 things